you trying to dominate your fantasy football league? Do you want so many championship rings it's impossible to sign autographs? Well, crack open a beer, pour yourself a glass of bourbon, and settle in, because you've come to the right place. Welcome to Hammercast.
Welcome to a special edition of the Double D's and the Hammercast YouTube channel. And on this episode, what we are going to do is we are going to go through the 2021 Dynasty Superflex rookie mock of the first round. So of this week, we're going to go the first round, and we're doing this pre-draft so that we can kind of talk about where everything is pre-draft, and then we see landing spots, draft capital, maybe move some things around after the draft. But I wanted to give you guys a look at kind of the way I think that your draft should probably get to. Again, this will all change. This is all subjective, right? So when we're talking about this, we're talking about subjectivity here. I'm going to go through them some ADP as well of these players as we go through them. So first up is Trevor Lawrence. So he's the 101 to me. I know there's some guys out there think Fields is, and some other guys can argue some other places, but not me. Trevor Lawrence is number one. He should be your first pick in your Superflex leagues. He is one of the best prospects we've seen in a long time. I'm not going to say Andrew Luck because I don't want anybody to come after me, but he is a great prospect. So, in college, we've seen his stats: 10,000 yards, 90 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Rushing, 231 attempts, 943 yards, 18 touchdowns. So he does definitely an athlete. We're going to take a look at some of his highlights. And a lot of you guys have probably seen this, but when you watch him, I think what's great about him is his platform. I talked to Nick Whalen earlier about quarterbacks. You see his platform. He's able to get his hips around no matter what. He's a sneaky athlete. And I know we laugh about that with quarterbacks like him, but he's fast. I mean, he does represent that ability to kind of escape. He's got some functional athleticism. That arm, and even though it's a little high, he can drive the ball very well. He scans the field very well. These out throws right here, that's a fantastic throw. Getting to the boundary, getting to the sidelines, he puts it on the money. There's nothing more you want from him. He's going to score. He is actually a red zone threat to score. He's rushing touchdown kind of. And when we think of fantasy, we're looking for that, right? We're thinking about that. So, again, you'll see it here. He gets off his platform. He reads his process as well. And look at that toss. I mean, when we look at what he can do on the game, he's going to be fantastic in Jacksonville when he gets drafted there. He does very well. He's a very underrated play action fake kind of guy, especially a player. Again, you'll see him here. Reads well, sees that he's going to be open, finds his read, and gets it to his guy. Now, and he can still make those special throws. And again, he's got an arm that's special. I love his deep ball accuracy. I love his ability to scan the field. And again, you'll see this against Notre Dame. They just whomped Notre Dame in that championship game. But when you're looking at what he can do, I just think that he's your 101. Again, on the run, he's he actually has some creativity to his game. I like the way he kind of scans. He's kind of got that aura about him. He can get it to the outside and that arm strength and back shoulder throws. I think one other area that we need to realize for him is he's got that back shoulder throw already. Look at this row of the boundary. Okay, the defenses can't do anything against that. You play zone against him, he can find the soft holes in the deep. Look at the back shoulder throw, which is going to be prevalent in that league. So for me, the 101 is Trevor Lawrence. And the reason why is because of all the things that he can do well, the back shoulder throws, everything that he has. He's NFL ready. He's been NFL ready. I watched him play in the national championship game against Alabama as a freshman. I was there. What he did in that game showed you that he could play in the NFL. That's why everybody's been talking about him so long. So that's why we kind of have some prospect fatigue a little bit, I think, with him. But he's the 101. All right, let's go to the 102. So to me, it's Justin Fields. I'm not going to waver from this. I know there's some talk about Justin Fields and all the kind of issues that we've been hearing from it. To me, he is the second most talented QB in this class. And I'm going to stay with it. So, he has 423 for 618, 100 yards in college, 67 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's got 4.45 speed. You show that with his rushing ability, 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. This kid is just special. I could see him going as high as 2. I know everybody's talking it up like he's not going to go in those places, but I could see it. We don't really know what these NFL scouts are talking about. We try to pretend like we do, and guys try to be insiders, but we don't know. I think one other area of him is that he does have some great arm talent. You'll see it here. I mean, he can load up. He's got the strength to hit on the outside, in stride, not falling back. Okay, not going to be like that we'll see with Mac Jones way later in this draft. But again, you'll see him process really well. He hits his outside routes. You'll see that was a perfect throw there. Again, and he's pretty good in the pocket. He understands when he's going to get awareness. He's got functional athleticism. Again, his athleticism is key. He can throw on the run. He can really fit any system. The thing I love about Fields is he's going to be able to do this. He showed toughness this last college football playoff against Clemson, where he absolutely tore him up. He got just tagged. He does process well. The whole thing about him not reading stuff is such lazy ass analysis. I can't stand it. He processes very well. He's an athlete. He's going to get outside the pocket. He's a Konami Code quarterback. Look at him here. Okay. Again, he actually has very good play action fakes. He can get it to the outside, and he can do the same thing. He can put ball placement being there. Again, you'll see him here against Clemson. Again, he's an athlete. So when I'm looking at my quarterbacks, he's someone that can kind of do it all. He has intangibles. He can think. He can use it. He gets his platform set. This throw is an absolute damn beauty here to Wilson. I just think that, you know what, regardless of where he goes, if he goes to Atlanta, or excuse me, not Atlanta, if he can go to San Francisco, you could argue that he should be the 101. Now, I'm not going to argue that, but you could. You could say that, hey, you know what, he has the weapons in place with the coach and the system. So Fields is not a reach, and I think Fields should be your 102 in Superflex leagues. Now, in terms of where he's going in regular drafts, so Lawrence and Fields, according to ADP data from this last April, they're going 1 and 2. So there's no reaches here in terms of like my list or anybody else's list out there. That's essentially where we see. Now, this might be a little bit of a difference, okay, but I actually have in Superflex leagues, my 103 is Zach Wilson. I've definitely turned a page on this. My good friend Felix Sharp has brought me to the light. If you know Felix, follow him on Twitter. He's one of the smartest guys on there. He's a really good dude. I love him to death. He's been on Zach for a long time, you know, and I think he's going to go number 2 to the Jets. I could see that. In college, 7,000 yards, 56 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Not the greatest runner, but he has that ability. But I think the thing that makes me just excited about watching Wilson play, and as we watch him here, you know, you're going to see a lot of different things that he does well. He has an arm. He's going to be able to hit all his targets there. He's going to a new system, the LaFleur system there, and, you know, he's going to be able to fit in well. Got Corey Davis, Mims, these other receivers. They're going to bring in another receiver in the draft. And I think that I love that his moxie. He's got that intangibleness. He gets his kind of hips around. He hits his receivers. Again, everybody talks about his lack of production in his first couple of years. He was hurt. He had to have shoulder surgery. He did a lot of these things, and he was able to come back and be even stronger. I love his progression. I love his progression as a quarterback. I love his ability to just hit on the dime. That is a money throw right there. That is just something that you love to see. He reads pretty well. He can work around the pocket, gets his feet set. Right there you saw. He's there, gets his feet set, throws an absolute damn dime to that sideline. I mean, if you're watching that and you're not impressed, I don't know what to tell you. You'll see it here. He's reading. His first look's not there. He's got to realize he got to reset. Boom, gets it there. He has the arm strength and awareness to get it out. Great catch, but damn, look at that throw. Again, drop back here. Keeps his feet set. Sees the field. Okay, hits his receiver. Just look at that money. I mean, it's just so fun to watch. I love watching him play. I mean, he is just somebody that I think is going to do very well. Even in New York, God, right? We hope that somebody can do that. But again, I think that when you watch him here, his play action ability, his ability to scan, his arm, everything is there. There's a lot of things now. He will take unnecessary risks. So there are some questions there, but that's part of his game. And I think when we talk about that, I've heard some guys talk about like, well, he's going to take those unnecessary risks, got to get it out of his game. I hope he doesn't, because that's part of him. And that's the stuff that I love to see about him, is that he takes those risks. He has a little Brett Favre-ish kind of ability, not like the person, trust me, I don't want to go there today, or it's kind of like the player, but he's got that ability to kind of play off script. And I love the ability to play off script. That's something that I really like. Now, the only difference between me is he is technically going at round 5 and 6 in ADP. But again, ADP doesn't necessarily matter depending on your league. I just want to give you the idea. And he's going as QB4. So he's actually not even the third QB taken in some drafts. Now, depending on the draft capital, if he does get taken by the Jets, we could see that change. But there's some Jets fatigue, okay? I do think there's going to be 3 quarterbacks taken in your Superflex leagues in the first 3 picks. I would argue there could be 4. I don't have that because I have a special talent as my 4th guy, and that is Jamar Chase. So Jamar's been my wide receiver 1 for, gosh, I don't even know how long, but he is my guy. Jamar is special talent in college. 107 receptions, 2,000 yards, 23 touchdowns before opting out of this last year. I don't know how else you could take him. To me, in single quarterback leagues, he's my 101. So that's how highly rated I am. I wouldn't hate him if he was in the third pick here. But again, I think the thing that people need to understand about him is his 50-50 ability to go get the balls, his ability to create separation at the point of attack, his ability to actually just outrun people. And people didn't realize this until he had his pro day and you saw that speed that he had. 4.45 in that area. He can accelerate. He's great at contact balance. I mean, he's very good right there of catching, good catch radius, good eye discipline. He's the best receiver in this class. I don't see anybody else being that good. I just don't. I think that he's going to be that special. I love everything about his game and everything that he does. Again, he can take, slants to the house. He is that fast, and you'll see him have that ability. He's strong. He's big. He just catches touchdowns. I mean, this dude finds the end zone. I just love everything about him. Okay. And to me, he's the 104 in that range, 103, 104, 105. If you get him after the 105, that's just stealing in your damn leagues. And you need to get in a better league because, well, actually, no, you don't. You're going to make money in that league. But he is the 104 just based on all those abilities that we saw. Everything about him screams big play potential. To me, he's the only wide receiver one in this class that can truly be a wide receiver one in the NFL. The other guys may have that potential. I think that there's less risk with him. So I'm okay with taking him as my first positional player off this board just because of where he goes. Now, where does he go? Who knows where he's going to land? I could see him going as high as to the Miami. I could see him maybe going to the Bengals maybe, but they really need offensive tackle. But I don't even the Lions, he consume all those targets. And Goff has been able to show that Woods and all Cup and all these guys, all them are great assets, but all of a sudden now Goff goes there and he gets chased and we have to knock him down. I wouldn't. Don't overthink this one. Chase is the guy. Now, my 105 as a quarterback is my guy. If you follow me, if you know anything about me, and that's Trey Lance. I think that he has the highest ceiling of this class, and yes, highest ceiling of this class. He has some question marks, so I think he will drop a little bit, especially we'll see what his draft capital looks like. 208, 318, 2,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 1 interception. These stats include his little exhibition game that he had. He did have 1,300 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns. We all know that his season came to an end when, his school opted out, basically, the FCS, that level. Okay, they opted out of the season last year. That's no fault of his. But let's take a look at his film. Let's look at this. When you're watching him here, first of all, I had to put a play on here. I know everybody's going to laugh because he's not a quarterback play. But, hey, he's an athlete. He's going to run. He's going to bring that Konami Code quarterback to this next level. I love it. I love that about him. Again, you'll see here, I think his pump faking and he's got a hell of an arm. I don't care what anybody says. His arm strength is impressive. Intermediate to deep, he has an arm. Now, his windup, as you saw there, kind of his release needs to get worked on, and he has improved since this. So this is his 2 years ago. If you watched his pro day, you saw his release he got shaped up a little bit. I think his mechanics need to work. But, hey, look at this off-script play off of one leg, getting across your body. That's what he brings. He brings that, and that is impressive ability as a quarterback, and I just love watching it. Again, this is one of my favorite throws from him. He gets on platform. Play action fake, hits the receiver in stride, perfect toss. Again, you'll see it here. He gets off platform. He can read pretty well. He gets it to his guy. And again, you're going to hear all the stuff about lack of competition and all that. Can the dude play? I'm so tired of hearing this. Can the dude play? Now, I want to see a team that has a vision for him draft him. Okay, whether that means he's got to sit for a year or whatever, I don't care. I just want a team that has a vision. Okay, great teams have visions for the players they draft. They just don't fall to them and say, okay, we'll take him. So I would love to see Carolina, and now I think that's kind of out of the way. Denver would be a great spot for him, I feel like, because he could compete. Maybe, he wouldn't be able to sit. The Falcons would not be a terrible spot if they're going to leave Matt Ryan there. But Trey Lance is a value. At 105, I could see him maybe getting to the 106, 107 range. According to his ADP, he's around this pick, 105. That's pretty much where he's at. He's going as QB3-ish, and him and Wilson are very close to each other. So this is a 105 to 107. You should expect Lance to be there. Now, my next person off the board, which is kind of funny because when we think of these drafts, sometimes we think of running backs being there, and that's Najee Harris. Again, Najee did everything he needed to do in college. 638 attempts, 3,800 yards, 46 touchdowns, 80 receptions, 781 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And the thing about Najee that I love, and he's a California boy, so of course I got to give him a little bit of shout out. I got Antioch. But you know what? He's going to be a red zone monster. He's going to score touchdowns. I think the thing about him is you see here, he has strength. He has everything that you want, physicality. Again, the age will worry some people, but to me, he's a one-contract dynasty asset. So you have 3 years for him. So I'll take that all day. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not trying to rebuild every year. So I'll take 3 years of his attributes and then trade him. Again, he'll do this. He has great vision. He has great ability to kind of work it in there. And he's actually become an improved pass catcher. They talked about him not being a very good pass catcher his first couple of years, and he improved each level a year. And that just shows me that this guy wants to do it. He breaks through the line. He has enough functional speed to get through the line and score touchdowns. That's what you want from him. Again, you'll see it here. Athleticism, man. I love watching this guy run. He runs hard. Okay, he's not one of those guys that's going to take it. He always collects contact. Look at his vision. I think the one underrated thing about Najee is his vision. Okay, look at again. Takes it to the outside. He's quick enough to get to the edge, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. He is quick enough to get to the edge and have it. Again, you'll see him here. Passing game, swing pass. He's got that speed. He has that ability, and he doesn't just run out of bounds. That's something that he's probably going to need to work on because he loves contact at the NFL level. He's going to score you touchdowns, and hey, we all want touchdowns. I don't understand why we shy away from that. We're going to need to score in fantasy. We're here to win. He carries the pile. He's strong. He's strength. He's going to be great. Okay, he's one of those guys. Now, will he be an all-pro? I don't know, but he will be a very solid dynasty back. Now, if you're getting him at where I think you can get him, which is going to be somewhere around the 5-6 mark, I have him at 6 right now. That's great value. Even in, when you're looking at kind of where he's going, he's running back 1 about 5. So he's going in this range, especially with the quarterbacks. If you're in a Superflex league, he's going to push this talent down. Take Najee, 2 to 3 years, boom, you have him. He's your guy, and he can be your running. I think he's a solid running back 2 option right now with a high-end, maybe low-end running back 1 ceiling. But he's a running back 2. That's who he is. That's who Najee Harris is. So I love that pick. I love that his vision. I love that everything goes. Pittsburgh's been mocked to him. Miami, wherever he goes, I think he's going to play a role. And I don't think there'll be a committee. He's that talented. Now, my 107, man, this kid is a freak, and it's Kyle Pitts. And I think that's where he's going to go in non-Superflex leagues or non-tight end premium leagues because of the era. And I think in non-Superflex leagues, he's going to go even higher. So Kyle Pitts, this is about where he's at his ADP. He's tight end 1, obviously. He's a unicorn. He's someone that's going to be able to transform your league. You need this guy. Okay, guys that I trust that love tight ends that have their rankings have him at 4 already before he's even played an NFL snap. Now, he had 100 receptions in college, 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. Absolutely fantastic for what we want from him. When you watch his tape, the things that stand out to me, he's a receiver. He's a receiver in a tight end body. Look at that catch radius. Look at that ability to create separation. He's a monster mismatch nightmare. Okay, he's going to just go out there. He's going to just match up nightmare. He's going to go through and make your linebackers look slow, make your corners look small. He's going to score touchdowns. And his ability to find the end zone separates him as a prospect. And he made Kyle Trask look good. I don't know what else you need to know about that. Okay, sorry if you're a Trask truther, but he made Kyle Trask like, oh, he's going to be the next Burrow. No, it was Kyle Pitts. Look at this ability to kind of fight for the ball, score touchdowns. That Ole Miss game, he looked to make them look silly. Alabama, look at here against the linebacker. There's nothing that they can do against this. Okay, his ability to create separation and routes, have mismatch. He's my tight end 1 in this class, and I think you should draft him early. You could argue drafting him a little higher than this just because of his ability to basically be a unicorn at that position, which they struggle with, right? When we're thinking of tight ends, after the top 3, who you drafting? Okay, I would realistically say it's Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, tier, Pitts, tier, Fant. That's kind of how I think of it. And Andrews Hawkinson later. That's who we're thinking here. Okay, now where does he go? He won't get past 10. I know that. Okay, so he's going to have high draft capital. He is someone that's an athlete. Okay, he could easily be a wide receiver 3 of this class. That's how good this kid is. So you got to get him. Now, my next guy is a guy that at the 108 that I don't know why he's been kind of hated on. Travis Etienne. I think he's a very good player. In college, he's one of the best Clemson running backs they've ever seen. 686 attempts, 4,900 yards, 70 touchdowns. 102 receptions, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. This kid can play, guys. And when you watch his tape, he does a lot of things well. So you'll see him here. He does, people complain about his vision, but damn his speed. He's in that zone scheme. There is no one going to stop him. This is one of his most famous runs. I love watching this run. He's a lot of fun to watch on tape. I just love football, as you can tell. And I love watching his ability to kind of sprint, get past tackles. He's strong. He runs a little high, but he can just take hits. And again, when they get him when he finds open space, this dude is just special. He makes people miss. He's kind of a straight line runner a little bit, but he does have that ability, that shiftiness that you like to see from your runners. And again, he can get to the outside. If he turns that edge, you can see his ass later because you are not catching him. So I don't know who you are, number 11, but you're not catching that guy. And again, he does have some pretty good vision, but I love this run because he just keeps his feet moving. And that's an underrated skill. I really believe it. You'll see his feet churning. He has that spin move he loves. He's going to get popped in the NFL one of these times, but he keeps his feet moving. He creates positive gains. And you'll see it here. He's got good vision. He hits into his lineman, keeps his feet moving. Again, arm tackles aren't going to take this guy down. And I know that we worry about where he's going to go, his landing spot. If he goes to a zone scheme, I love it. Obviously, the Niners I would love to take. I don't know if they're going to do it. But if he goes to any of those type of schemes, those are the schemes that I want to see from this young man. Again, at 108, I think that's kind of a steal. His ADP is anywhere from 5 to 7. So some people are drafting him as basically running back 2. But again, this is a guy that is going to be a 3 to 4 year asset that you can have on your roster who's got better at the receiving game. When he was told to go get better, he came back to school and got better. There are things about him that make it right. He's an intangible guy. He's an easy guy to root for. He is someone that I am rooting for. So I think at 108, that would be a steal. 109 for me is Javonte Williams from North Carolina, one of the biggest risers of college last year. In college, 366 attempts, 2,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 50 receptions, 539 yards, and 4 touchdowns receiving. Obviously, not fantastic in that area, but as a runner, there's really nothing to hate on him here. Okay, so when you're looking at Javonte, what he's able to do, again, he's just strong. Everybody's seen this run 1,000 times. He does have positive gains here. You're going to see basically his ability to break tackles is next level. I don't mind his receiving ability. You'll see him here, and you'll see, like, hey, he has the intangible and awareness to go out there and get into the passing game. When he's getting to open space, he's fast enough to kind of score touchdowns. He's a lot of fun to watch. Just watch his tape. You'll see him here. Okay, breaks tackles. Now, there was a lot of open holes. So one thing I will say about, North Carolina's offense was very special last year. They should have won more games. They kind of underachieved. But you'll watch him here. Okay, again, vision, quickness, gets to the outside, stiff arms, able to break tackles, kind of gets there and closes. Again, you'll see him here inside. Okay, breaks another tackle. He's going to do that. Now, can he do it at the next level? I think he can. I think when we're looking at him, he's 5'10", about 212, 215. He'll be able to hit that next level, score touchdowns on the inside. I think Williams is a fine player, and I think that he's pretty good. I would question him going. He's not my running back 1 or running back 2 at any point. He's my running back 3. I think he's clearly in that mold. I think he has that ability. I think draft capital matters where he's going to go. But again, he's going around that era. When you're looking at his actual ADP, he's going about at 8 or 9. Okay, that's kind of where he's going, running back 3. So it's not a reach to say Javonte should be in that era. Now, maybe you like him a little bit more. Maybe he does go to a favorable situation. I would love to see him go to a favorable situation. I don't really like the Arizona fit because Kyler Murray's the running back 1 there, right, when we think of that. I want him to go somewhere where he's not necessarily going to be a workhorse, but he's someone that's going to get a majority of the volume. If he does that, then maybe you move him up. But I was firm to put him at running back 3. I think that's where he goes. Now, this next guy, I will be honest, I'm kind of coming around on Mac Jones a little bit. So I was definitely down on him at the beginning of the year. I've been kind of salty about it. I don't really know what I see in him. But you know what? There's no denying what he did last year. In his college career, he had 6,000 yards, 56 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He balled out. To put it quite frankly, he did everything he was supposed to do. Now, he's not an athlete. So these other guys that we've seen before, he's not going to have that athlete. But his ability to get the ball to his receivers, he has a good platform. He can make a lot of throws. His arm strength is there. But I think his ball placement's what impresses me the most. So when I watch him and I watch his ability to kind of place the ball where he wants, and again, you're going to use that argument like he had all these great weapons. Yeah, that's fine. But you know what? A lot of guys have great weapons and they can't get the ball in their hands into certain spots. They puts his receivers in good spots. He doesn't get them blown up. Again, there you'll see a little bit of underthrow. So he will do that. You saw that at his pro day. But again, he gives himself enough time and he knows where his athletes need to be to catch the ball. So he does have that intangible view. That's a good throw there. Kid's on platform. Again, you'll see him here. And again, I think I like about him a lot is he's better. Look at that ball placement. There's nothing there that, right there. There is nothing much he has to do there but just catch the ball and run. And if he can get the athletes the ball down, he's going to have to be scheme dependent a little bit. They're going to have to fit it in there. And that's a great catch, by the way. But when you're looking at that, I think that when we look at Mac Jones, he's going to go in the first round of your guys' Superflex leagues. I could argue maybe he'll go a little higher than 110. Okay, right now his ADP is at 9. He's QB5 off the board. But if a QB-needed league, especially is going to be there, you're going to see maybe 5 of these quarterbacks go, which will push the talent down, which is great for some of you that don't need a quarterback. But Mac Jones, I think, has that ability to really kind of separate himself. Now, if you have one of the top picks, maybe you take a Pitts, a Jamar, and then get Mac Jones if you're later in the first, if you have 2 picks. I think that he's going to be there. Now, where's he going to go? Who knows? I would love to see him go to Denver, the Patriots, those type of places I think would fit well. Does he go to San Francisco? If he does, then he'll shoot up draft boards a little bit. But, again, he's my QB. He's in that QB 4 to 5 range. I think that he is more landing spot dependent than some of these other guys, but he's going to be a serviceable Kirk Cousins type quarterback no matter what. So he has fantasy value. That's okay in a Superflex league. Take the value where it falls. Now, my 111 might be a little hot takey, but it's Jaylen Waddle. He's my wide receiver, too. He's a special athlete. College stats obviously aren't great because he got hurt last year, even though he was going for his breakout year. 106 receptions, 1,900 yards, almost 2,017 touchdowns. So let's take a look at Waddle and watch his tape. This is one of my favorite catches of his. This dude just has eye discipline. He has some of the best hands. Comparing him to like Ruggs and stuff is just lazy ass analysis, but you're going to see him drop. I can see Waddle dropping in the second round. If he does, that's a damn steal. This guy can catch. He's got athleticism. You'll see it here. They schemed him very well. So remember when I talked about with Lance, I want him to go to a team with a vision? Waddle needs to go to a team with a vision. Okay, if Waddle can go to a team with a vision, imagine him getting paired with Herbert in L.A. Almost said San Diego right there. In L.A. with the Chargers. Go into a spot where he can actually have a good quarterback. I would hate the Giants for him. I'm not as big as Daniel Jones as some other people, but if he can go to a team that's going to use him, if he can get out in space and basically, and he can catch too. He's a receiver. He has playmaking ability. He has special teams ability, but he's a receiver. Ruggs didn't necessarily have all that. Okay, we saw Ruggs in a lot of different formats, but mainly just relied on speed. Waddle's a pretty damn good route runner as well. Like, they don't press him as much. He's got to work in that press coverage there. But gosh, look at that. That is just a great route, what he saw. Okay, and what he's able to do. He can do that at the next level. So if you get him at that 111, 112 mark, okay, currently right now his ADP, when you're looking at kind of where he's going as wide receiver 4 in basically the second round. I would personally take him from a 111 on, okay, and depending on how the board falls, maybe 110, depending on who is there. So I think that's steal. So I feel like Waddle and our next guy here, which is Terrace Marshall, Devonta Smith, Bateman, those groups, they're very close together, okay, basically on personal preference, but for me, it's Waddle right now. Now, my 112, which has been my 112 even before it was cool like everybody else, is Terrace Marshall. He's been my wide receiver 3 in this process forever. Shout out to like Matt Hicks, all these other guys that have had him there as well. He is just a physical being. You know, when you're looking at me, 6'3", 205, he is what fits the mold. He can be an X. He can be on the outside, a slot. He can do it all. In college, 106 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 23 touchdowns. He got hurt that record-breaking year in the national championship year, and then last year after 7 games, he opted out. So the stats aren't going to be as high for him. But when you watch his tape and what he's able to do, his size is apparent. He's big. He's going to be a possession guy. He can line up in the slot. He's got good hands. I know he had some concentration drops, but I still believe he has good hands. He doesn't body catch. He's just a big kind of profile guy. He's going to find the end zone, and he's going to find the first down marker. They didn't have the greatest situation at LSU for quarterbacks last year, and he still was able to produce pretty high numbers. He's big-bodied. He uses his frame wall to box out on catches. And again, look at that catch, one-handed touchdown, athletic guy who's going to be – and he has that intangibles. He's got that little fight in him. He's got that dog in him. I love that. That's my guys. When they have that dog, that fight, it's the reason why I like Pickens and these other guys. You know, he's a guy that I think is going to his game is going to transcend to the NFL better probably than it did in college. Now, where does he go? Man, I've seen him mocked all over the place. If he goes to Green Bay, I'm going to fall in love even more. If he can get to these other areas where they'll utilize him better, I love it. But I love he's going to score touchdowns in the NFL, guys. He's got that ability. Look at that. He's able to eye discipline, come back, make an adjustment, has a big catch radius. These are things that I think Terrace Marshall can do for your NFL's team. He's going to find the end zone. He always finds a soft spot, and he has enough speed to break away. Now, he had a pretty high 40 time, 4.5-ish, 4.4, 4.5-ish pro day. I don't know if he's going to do that really in the NFL, but who cares about 40 times? I don't care about 40 times. He has eye discipline to catch. He's going to get into a system. And if he gets into a system where that contributes to his skills and basically utilizes those, I absolutely love that for him. So when you're looking at my mock right now, that's where I think your first round Superflex mock is going to go. Now, notably, who's not there? Devonta Smith, the BMI, the weight scares me a little bit. I will be honest. I'm one of those guys, okay? Bateman, you could easily argue him to be here. But I think that's really it. I don't see any of these other guys jumping in there. So you're going to realistically get Waddle, Marshall, Bateman, and possibly Devonta in these 4 picks from the 111 to 202. And then Gainwell is going to be probably somewhere in there too. And then Trey Sermon, depending on draft capital. But right now in this first round, this is where I have my first round. So again, just to recap kind of where we're at. And Terrace Marshall is a value later. So you don't have to reach if you have a couple picks because you're probably going to get him. But as far as his ADP right now, he's going as wide receiver 6. So I've obviously have him a little higher here. And he's going around, 16. So basically 204, 205. But I'm taking him above those other guys that I kind of mentioned right now. So just to recap, my 101 was Trevor Lawrence. My 102 was Justin Fields. My 103 was Zach Wilson. My 104 was Jamar Chase. My 105 was Trey Lance. My 106 was Najee Harris. My 107 was Kyle Pitts. My 108 was Travis Etienne. My 109 was Javonte Williams. 110, Mac Jones. 111, Jaylen Waddle. And number 12 was Terrace Marshall. So that's how I think your Superflex League is going to play out. I'm excited for the draft. Be on the lookout for round 2, which should be coming next week sometime based on this. So I'm just going to keep going on this based on my list that we have here. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. And in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm okay with that. Okay, I love discourse. Just don't yell at me, but just say, what do you see here? I know that there's some controversial people not in this, but I would love to hear you arguments for or against. So I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to Hammercast.com. subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.